Learning to draw, just like learning anything, is not easy. Where do you even begin? How do you not waste your time? Well, in this week's YouTube Art School episode, I'll talk about the 5 first steps that you should take as an artist to have the best possible start. Class is starting. We're gonna be late. Shh. All right, class is in session. Pay attention. Structure, when it comes to education, is probably one of the most important aspects, something that'll have a massive impact on your success or failure. If you've ever been interested in learning how to draw, you'll want to pay attention for the next couple minutes as I try my best to explain what your next 5 steps should look like. A little bit of structure to get you started the right way. But if you'd like a lot of structure, as in a full 31 classes over 10 terms, a full curriculum totaling 100 hours of structured content, then check out my complete art program with the link in the video description. It's the holidays, which means that I'm having the biggest sale of the year until the end of this month. I don't want you to miss out on this. You should definitely join our awesome community of over 13,000 students. It's a lot of fun. For now though, back to the topic of this video, let's get started with the first step of 5. Let's go. You can do this. So you've discovered a new interest for drawing, or you've been interested for a while but haven't made much progress yet. The very first thing I'll always recommend to art students is going to be to explore. Explore different mediums. Start doodling with a good old traditional pencil on paper. Try digital art using a free software like Krita maybe. If you have access to a pen tablet, don't draw with a mouse, that's crazy. Try painting something simple with gouache or any kind of paint you might have. Try charcoal, pastels, and explore drawing on different surfaces. At first, it's important to test the waters. Have fun without really thinking about anything too technical. Find out what you think might be fun and then try it out. Maybe following some YouTube tutorials for beginners. I have a bunch of those, of course, as part of my YouTube Art School playlist. But yeah, initially, your biggest hurdle will likely just be simple hand dexterity. So I'd mix in some simple exercises to help develop your hand and eye coordination to gain better control. I actually put together a class some weeks ago going over some of my favorite exercises to help with that. I highly recommend you check it out. I'll have a link to it in the video description. Now, you might kind of feel handicapped at first, but just give it a couple of days, a couple weeks, and you should get the hang of it much faster than you think if you practice those simple exercises. Now, after you've done this for a while, hopefully you'll have some preferences when it comes to the kind of tools that you like and the kind of art that you want to create. For the second step, it's a good time to start copying. Copy the drawings from artists you like, copy things you see in books, in manga, copy the things that you see all around you in real life, copy what you see in photos, find things you feel you would like to eventually be able to draw from imagination and start by copying them. It's not like you'll soak up much knowledge by doing this since your eyes are not trained to observe that well just yet, but that will come with time, and at this stage anyways, you're starting to learn about yourself, about what you enjoy and what you're drawn to as an artist. It's an important step. I've done my share of copying when I was younger. I copied so many Dragon Ball characters, some Marvel comics, some anime characters. It's fun when you get other people reacting positively to this new skill that you're developing. So don't hesitate to show off, and ask what others think. Just because you can copy it doesn't mean that you can draw it. So don't show off as a means to take credit for something you didn't create. That's not good, obviously, but show off with the goal of getting feedback from people around you or online who might be more inclined to give you positive feedback, like your friends and family. It's important to get that boost in confidence early on. You can think of this step as like playing a tune on a piano before you learn how to read music. And one more thing, I also believe you'll make faster progress if you focus only on drawing first, without, like shading or coloring just yet. It's good to explore, of course, but a majority of line drawings is a better way to start. Now, for the third step, and by the way, I'm imagining like a couple of months for each of these steps, more or less depending on how much time you have to dedicate to drawing. Anyways, for the third step, it's a good time to start trying some techniques from artists that you like, or from books on how to draw, and see what works well for you. And also find out what's too hard. Again, YouTube will be a great source for this. At this point, you should have some clear preferences when it comes to what you love drawing, so you'll be able to find tutorials for that specifically. That's really when you start to get better at an accelerated pace. At this point in your art journey, you should have a lot of questions and you'll be very receptive to the answers when you come across them moving forward. AKA, you'll remember everything better since you now have an interest and a need for that knowledge. It's a massive distinction when it comes to learning. Maybe your characters have been looking a bit derpy, so you're looking for a simple tutorial on how to draw faces better. Once again, I got you covered, but there are many other videos out here on YouTube to help with different art struggles. It's important to keep having fun, so don't be too hard on yourself if the tutorials, don't turn out to be too useful. Maybe the teacher sucked. Or maybe you're a little too early to tackle the topic. Just don't expect too much. You're just starting, so the result probably won't be that great. But as long as you see progress, that's really all that should matter. Progress leads to greatness. If the result does turn out good though, then consider it a nice bonus, but nothing more. So moving on to the fourth step then, by now you should have a decent amount of experience, which is the perfect time to start setting some goals for your progress. Having tried different things, you should have a good idea of your shortcomings. Unless you start pushing yourself, you'll eventually plateau, so setting a big ambitious goal for your future and breaking that big goal into a bunch of much smaller goals, more immediately achievable goals, will ensure you keep a good pace of growth and help keep you motivated over time. Without a goal, you won't be going anywhere and your motivation will start to decline. Slowly but surely. Some ideas for your goal might be to participate in an art competition online somewhere. There are always a bunch of competitions on the Art School Students private Discord server, so it could be something similar in an art group that you're part of at your school, maybe, whatever. It might also be to just have like a goal of 10 drawings that you're proud to put into your portfolio online by a set date. Maybe it's simply to complete a more ambitious drawing that you have in mind and study the various skills that will allow you to create it at a technical level that you're satisfied with, using skills that maybe you don't have just yet. Whatever your goal is, write it down somewhere. You'll always want to be able to see it, including all the smaller goals that will help you get there. Always keep your eyes on the prize. Keep reminding yourself how and why you're working towards it. The more compelling the reason, the clearer the path, the more likely you'll stay on it. And this brings us to step number 5. When you get to the point where you want to stop copying everything and start creating art by yourself, more original art. Maybe you have a cool idea for a character or a variant on an existing popular character that you think might look awesome. Whatever your creative urge is, by this point you should be ready to dive into the art fundamentals. If I take the piano analogy again, it's time to learn how to read and write music. In our case as artists, it's time to learn about the fundamentals of art. It's the start of a long process that will take years to master, but there is nothing quite like the joy that you get after drawing something purely out of your own knowledge, without copying something that already exists, especially when it looks good, something that you're proud of. These drawings that I've been working on, for example, being able to do this brings me so much happiness that all the struggles that got me to this point were all definitely worth it. So in the order in which I recommend that you tackle them, the fundamentals will be as follow. The first one will be construction, and then gesture drawing, perspective, anatomy, color and light theory, design, and composition and storytelling. Of course, I go into great depth about each of them in my art program, but to practice the first art fundamental, arguably the most important one, the fundamental of construction specifically, I recommend you try the 30 exercises I created specifically for you in a recent YouTube class. I'll put a link to that class in the top right corner of the screen and down in the video description. Go check that out next. So many artists have participated so far. It's been awesome to see the progress over just 30 days. Maybe set that as your first art goal, to complete the 30 days of exercises and join thousands of others who already did it or are currently working on it. Anyways, if you do happen to follow these 5 first steps, maybe you already did, you should be well on your way to drawing anything you can imagine and becoming the artist that you wish to become. Learning to draw is so much fun. Everybody should do it. If you ask me, it should be illegal not to. Anyways, that's gonna wrap it up for this week's class. I hope it was helpful. If you're practicing art digitally, maybe you'd like to try the awesome line art brush that I've used for these 3 drawings today. I'm actually giving them away for free as part of one of my 2 main custom brush sets that you can download with the link in the video description. These are all brushes that I use daily. They're a selection of some of my favorite ones, and you can get them for free. That's what I call good value. Use them responsibly. And also, happy holidays. Make sure that you have notifications enabled to be on time for next week's class. You won't want to miss it.